Welcome to Trivial Debates.
Welcome to this week's edition of Trivial Debates. We have some awesome new debates this week, as always. Except last week we weren't here.
No.
We were on hiatus.
We had 1 week off.
We had 1 week off. Why did we have a week off?
I was away.
You were away.
He was in
New York
and Washington, D.C.
The Americans let you in.
And we can't do it without Dave, because he is the wind beneath our wings.
That's true. He really is.
I said go do it without
He's
me.
my hero.
Yeah.
And the wind beneath my wings.
I haven't missed an episode yet.
That's true. We didn't want to ruin that record.
And now with Jeff not here, you have 2 on him. You already had more episodes than him.
I already had more episodes.
But yeah, now you're
I think I have more wins, or we're tied.
I think you're tied. I think you're almost on the same record.
I won't be able to win this round this time, unfortunately. Oh. Well, let's face it, I'm a winner anyway. All right. Anyway, each week our panelists will be judged and scored on their arguments for facts, passion, and creativity. Our panelists this week are
Dave Mader.
Kevin Millard.
Eamon Mader.
Whoa, bring that down a bit.
Okay.
All right.
You're a little too excited.
So this is how Trivial Debates works for everybody who doesn't know and the 5 people that might have joined. We have a bunch of categories. We have movies, television, music, sports, history, and of course a wild card, which by the way will probably be something video game related because I'm hosting. Our 2 top panelists will advance into a speed round. Not speed racer, speed round. Let's get that right. All right. We want people to be passionate about their arguments, but not personally mean. Okay, I'm scratching that out. You can be personally mean. I don't care. I'm all for it, actually. Like,
no special treatment, Eamon.
If you want to call somebody a cockknocker, you might actually get extra points out of it. Oh, that's me. Anyway, keep in mind that you can also skip to a new debate by looking at the time indexes and descriptions, but that's only on YouTube, right?
Can you
do that on the iTunes there?
Yeah. It's there.
Really?
It is, yeah.
Sweet.
You can't click it like you can on YouTube, but it's there.
Oh, it tells you.
You tap it?
Yeah, like
it's like at 32 minutes, this is when Jody says Dave's a cock.
Right.
All right, cool. All right.
Now you have to add that in.
Yeah, at 32 minutes, I'm going to actually look at the countdown, and when we get to 32 minutes, I'm just going to stop all the debates and just say, Dave, you're a cock. And then I'm going to carry on. we should just record Dave, you're a cock, and then you can put it in post.
Yeah.
Right at 32 minutes.
Right, exactly. That would be easier.
Okay, that'll be easier. Let's just do that. So here, hold on. Everybody be quiet for a second. Dave, you're a cock. All right, you can use that now. All right, so remember to subscribe to our iTunes feed if you have an iPod.
Or, an iPad.
Oh, an iPad. It will work on an iPad too.
It will.
Or an iPhone.
And an iPhone. That's incredible.
All kinds of Apple.
What about you? You got anything to add to this?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay, sorry.
The Apple Watch, there's that.
I don't know if that plays
happens.
podcast. See, now you just took it too far. All right. Anyway, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, and I don't know, Ashley Madison? Oh no, we got our account hacked.
It was hacked.
It was hacked.
By who?
All of our credit card information is now in the wild because we're dirty men. Anyway, whether you're listening on iTunes or watching the YouTube version, why do they even watch the YouTube version? They can listen.
That's what I said.
People love the YouTube version.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did notice it got a lot of hits.
It got some hits, and it's a whole other medium. If people are just like at their desk, they don't want to listen on their phone or whatever, they can just pull it up. Like your wife listens on the YouTube version. Yeah. It's more visual. Like it has the question right up there. And
it also says the winner and stuff too, right?
What the score is and all that kind of
Too bad it doesn't tell you who's talking at the time, though. That would be hard.
And what people picked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be. That's more work. I could do that.
That's true. You could do
but
that.
But you don't want to.
Your father is a lazy man.
It's enough work what I do already.
Anyway, yeah, he does enough work, Eamon.
We show up once a week and
do you like the roof over your head?
Barely do any research, but Dave is a lazy man.
Dave's lazy. Anyway, all of the links and information for this show as well as all previous shows can be found at website, Dave. What website would that be?
TrivialDebates.com.
TrivialDebates.com. I hear there's scores and stuff.
You can track our batting averages at different categories.
Yeah, I believe he also puts how many times we change our underwear, whether it's red, blue, all that stuff. There's a whole slew of stats.
Yeah.
And the last line on my page here says, "Let the battle begin." All right, so now we're there. So our first question this week is in movies. The best animated movie not made by Pixar, Disney, or Dreamworks.
Which takes a lot of them out of the
That's exactly the reason why we did it.
Okay.
Well, why I did it anyway. So I'm going to start, you know what, we're going to start with Newbie today.
Okay.
So let's hear what you got to say, and we're going to
He's been raring to go.
We're trying to keep this a bit short, all right? So
Okay.
let's keep it going here. All right, let's hear what you have to say.
I picked Despicable Me.
Despicable Me. All right.
Who made that?
That was made by Universal
Was made by Universal.
and Illumination.
And Elimination.
Interesting. I did not know that.
It's true. Actually, when you picked that, I had to look it up because I thought it was done by DreamWorks.
Yeah.
That's what I thought for a
I
second.
thought it was done by
like,
DreamWorks, but it's not.
It looks like DreamWorks.
It does look a lot like DreamWorks, though. Anyway,
But,
go ahead, Amy.
I haven't actually seen it.
Really?
No.
Oh, the first one was
the
pretty.
story of
The second one was kind of dumb.
But that's where those minion guys come from.
Yeah, little
Yeah.
yellow guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, little fat, chubby yellow guys.
those guys are awesome.
Basically, like cartoon versions of us.
They seem pretty popular at the moment.
Not.
You're just gonna have to jump in.
Yeah.
Okay. The story of a man who was evil, but then he let somebody into his heart to change his mind. And this is done by the 3 kids that he adopts.
Well, he adopts them
Margot,
for a
Edith,
specific
and
reason, though.
to infiltrate villain Vector's base. So, but then he starts actually having fun with them and stuff, and eventually he gets rid of them to help more the plans.
Spoilers.
All right.
For a 2010 movie. It's
Like,
a
we're talking about animated movies. Who cares how it ends?
You're
You've
also
seen it
the
8
only
times
one
with
on
your
the
kids.
planet who hasn't seen it.
Exactly. You're like you and like
But then
some guy in Mexico hasn't seen it. That's it.
And then when he gives them up, he misses every second of it. And then there's another part of this where his friends, Dr. Nefario, is kind of saying, "Well, we need to get this done. We need to steal the moon," because that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to get a shrink ray from Vector so that he could steal the moon.
He's kind of retarded, actually.
Why would you want to steal that?
Why not?
Fame.
Like,
You haven't seen the movie.
No.
It's all about fame.
it's all about fame.
Okay.
All right.
Because earlier the guy Vector stole the pyramids.
All right, so we're not going to go for a full plot summary.
Anyways,
All we really need to know is why did you pick that as being the best animated movie?
because it was one that I thought of, and
Well, that's a good answer.
What popped into his head?
That was the first one that hit his head.
and I really
That's my
liked this as a
sports
kid,
answer.
and I still like it now. And I feel like the idea was still used. I feel like it was redone, and it was such a good idea that it was reused in movies such as Megamind.
True.
Which one's that one?
That's the one with the blue-headed
The
guy.
blue-headed guy.
Oh, I never watched that. That was terrible.
Don't know.
Yeah, well, I know you wouldn't know. All right. I'm going to go clockwise, Kevin, so I'm going to leave you to the end. Okay, I'm sorry. I know you're
right.
really disappointed right now.
I'll just be over here crying.
All right, thanks, Eamon. So, Dave, best animated movie not made by Pixar, Disney, or DreamWorks?
I picked the Lego Movie.
The Lego Movie.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is...
It's awesome. Everything is great when you're part of a team. And
You're not going to sing the whole thing, are you?
no, I'm not going to, but I
Because
could.
Kevin looks like he's about ready to belt it.
And
I think Kevin actually enjoyed the movie.
I did.
Everyone enjoyed
I
this
did.
movie.
It was a good movie.
I don't need
I
to-
saw it in the theater.
I think what's great about this movie is, it's stop motion. It's got a little bit of going back and forth between the human world and the Lego world, if you will. And it takes a character who would just normally be a background character and makes him the focus and proves that, you don't...
Every man is the star.
The everyman is the star, which is a great theme. It shows off some great characters and voice work from across different properties, DC and
Yeah, that would have been a licensing nightmare. That movie.
yeah, but like they already have like Lego licensed characters. It's got Elizabeth.
I'm pretty sure they had to clear that for a movie.
I'm sure they did. But
and all the video games.
But just like Will Ferrell's a great villain in it. Will Ferrell not really known for playing a villain too often. I think Zoolander would be the other example.
The only other one that I can think of.
They're making a new Zoolander movie, by the way.
Yeah, they're making a new Zoolander.
Will Ferrell.
That's something that wasn't needed, by the way.
Showing like the power of imagination, a kid's dream, what toys are all about. Kind of like moving away from video games, which are dominated in kids,
this is true.
mentalities today. Great voice cast with Morgan Freeman, Will Ferrell, Elizabeth Banks. And there's more. I can't think of them all right now, but it's just a fun, great ride of a movie, cool. and something that it uses a combination of CGI and practical effects and. Just has a lot of fun, and I just think it was a travesty it didn't get nominated for the Academy Award for Best Animated Film.
Travesty.
Uproar.
Travesty.
Injustice.
All right, Kevin, let's hear what you had to say.
All right, I picked South Park. Bigger, longer, and uncut.
All right, let's hear it.
This is one of the only...
Now, Damon's probably not seen this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it.
You've seen that movie?
Yeah.
Your dad let you watch that movie?
Well, yeah, and as soon as I let him watch it,
you might as well just give him a beer then.
he went right to his mother. He's like, "Daddy, let me watch the South Park movie," and she went, "Oh."
Oh.
He would if he's seen it.
If I let my kids watch that movie, Candace would have my ass.
This is one of the only movies I've ever seen twice in the theater.
I never actually saw it in the theater. I never seen it.
1999,
and it's the only movie that I've seen twice in the theater on purpose.
Oh yeah.
It's a great musical.
It's a wonderful musical. I mean, Uncle Fucker. What a great song.
It was supposed to be Motherfucker, and then they told them they couldn't have.
Shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker.
You're a boner biting bastard, Uncle Fucker.
They could have a song called Motherfucker, so they changed it to Uncle Fucker.
Which is, you don't eat or sleep or mow the lawn, you just fuck your uncle all day long.
Sounds terrible.
But that's what I love about this movie is just what I love about South Park. It's blunt and in its social commentary. I mean, the racism in the States. I love that they did. All the black guys were part of Operation Human Shield, and all the white guys were part of Operation Get Behind the Darkies.
Yeah, Get Behind the Darkies. Yeah.
Have you ever read the Emancipation Proclamation? I don't listen to hip hop.
And there was a scene, wasn't there a scene with like they're trying to do like a demonstration of like the battlefield and like it's fucking Windows 98 get Bill Gates in here.
Shoots him in the head.
Shoots him in the head, yeah.
And then, or one of my favorite, it starts off the best. It's Saddam Hussein. It's been a week since Saddam Hussein was killed by wild dogs or something like that, and the world is still glad to be rid of him.
Yeah, the Saddam Hussein character is interesting, and he's nothing like the real life Saddam Hussein.
He's worse than Satan. He treats Satan like his bitch.
He's like this whole other evil character they just threw.
He's got like the dildos, and he's like, and he's like trying to shove it in his ears.
Come on, guy.
Come on, guy.
Yeah, they just like threw Saddam Hussein's face on some character that they made.
Yeah. But it's just a funny movie all the way through. That's
cool.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, guys, I'm down to 2. Unfortunately, Eamon, you didn't make it. So between the two of you, tell me why your movie is better than his.
As an animated movie, I just think Lego Movie is more accessible to a larger audience.
That's not true, because your son's seen South Park.
Yeah,
but I'm
my son's seen. All my kids have seen half of it until I realized what they were watching.
Then you're like, turn that off.
But they're like, no, it's funny.
But I was in high school. I was like 16 when South Park came out, and my brother Rich was 14, I guess, not far off from Eamon. He loved it. Like, Rich was Cartman, right? Like, and he like,
give me my cheese and poos.
Yeah.
I want cheesy pig.
What's a rim job?
Well, that's when you sit down and put your legs behind your head and somebody licks your hands.
I think that's the first time we've ever used the term rim job on the show.
That's the first.
Yeah.
Lego Movie, more accessible to kids and to adults, more so than South Park, certainly.
All right.
A better style of animation, I would argue.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of what South Park is trademarked for. Like it's they're not trying to make it incredible. Like, that was kind of the point.
I think that Lego being like an adaptation of such a relatable product that we all grew up with. Everybody owns Lego. Like I think I read some stat that everybody has a bit of Lego in their house somewhere in North America.
It's usually under my foot.
Yeah, it's
under my foot at 3 a.m.
Right.
Yeah.
If everybody split up all the Lego bricks in the world, I believe there's like 52 everybody would have.
Yeah, something like that.
Like when that movie was announced, I was like, oh, it's just going to be like an attempt to just sell more Lego merchandise, and it is.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
But it's good.
But it's more than that. They actually made a really great movie that I think is timeless. I think and I think South Park is also like that. I think South Park, they're still doing like musical reenactments of South Park, like in high school plays and
for sure.
and college campuses. And I think they'll be doing the same thing with the Lego movie as well.
Yeah, that everything is awesome. Song drives me nuts though. You same question.
When you're living on a dream.
Yeah, whatever.
It's because it's also
You know the entire song?
because South Park, as usual, South Park is a social commentary as well.
Absolutely.
It's not just
That's what it is.
it's not just a funny movie, but it's like it's a social commentary on how crazy American parents are about swearing and sex and whatnot. But violence is like aces, cool. Like we're good with all the violence and everything. And
Not
then-
even a
Horrible
real
violence is
country
okay as long as people don't say naughty words.
exactly. That's kind of what they.
It's more of a social commentary.
Also, the movie was the first time we had heard the characters swearing.
True.
Really? Because they couldn't do it on TV?
They didn't do it on TV until after the movie.
And they actually kind of made it to be like an event in the movie even because they kind of drew up to it and then all of a sudden there's a swear word coming out of these kids' mouths. It was just
How would you like to suck my ball, Mr. Garrison?
Mr. Garrison.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
All right. I've heard it. I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to give it to Dave.
Nice.
Okay.
Everything is awesome.
Okay. Maybe I'm going to use No, I'm just kidding. All right. Next one. TV. Ding, ding, ding. Best workplace themed TV show. Dave, we're going to start with you.
The Office. It's
All right.
Tell
me why.
It's a workplace TV show. It's one of the most iconic sitcoms of the 2000s and beyond. It established Steve Carell as a breakout star in his own right. His comedy adaptation of Ricky Gervais's original England show was different, but very similar in that he's like this boss that makes everybody uncomfortable around him. How the characters interact, it's extremely smart show. You know, it doesn't make use of the laugh track. It's not the first show to do that, but I think that as a workplace theme, like, and they're a paper company of all things, right? So they're going through the monotonous day, like about how much paper they can sell, and the guy who plays Dwight, I can't think of his name right now, but he's amazing. Rainn Wilson, that's his name.
Rainn Wilson. Yeah.
Rainn Wilson. He's a breakout star, and John Krasinski. The cast is stellar, and you know, it was when Steve Carell left it. They tried to keep it going for another year with Ed Helms as like the boss,
terrible.
and it didn't work. You know, kind of wish they just ended it with Steve Carell when Steve Carell decided to kind of hang him up. But you know, I think that the fact that they tried was admirable, and yeah, it's all about the monotonous day working in a cubicle with a bunch of people you don't like. And how
For a paper company.
For a paper company.
Of all things.
Yeah. It's set in Scranton, but there's you really start to care about the characters after a while and how they relate to each other, and they're
See, that was, to me, I didn't actually find that. I actually was the opposite. I didn't give a shit about anybody on that show.
Pam and Jim?
No, didn't care. Didn't care at all.
I cared.
But I enjoyed the show. Like I do like the original. The original British one was fantastic in my opinion. But the US one definitely had its perks for sure. And I think, well, you couldn't do that show without Steve Carell. The US version couldn't be done. It just can't. And they proved that with Ed Helms, right?
Right.
So, all right, Kevin, what do you have to pick here?
Well, I watched a few episodes of yours, and I couldn't
You
watch
tuned
it
out?
anymore. It was brutal.
You didn't find it funny?
Not funny at all.
Well, I found it funny.
I didn't find it funny in the least.
Like
But
a-
I've never worked in an office,
No.
So
Well, a lot of the shit that was in there is your standard office.
yeah, especially like the whole. It was using that whole.
There's always a Dwight guy in any office. Like I can name 3 people in my work right now that are like Dwight.
I think I'm that guy in my office.
Probably. Yeah, you're like wrong, false.
The whole mockumentary style. Like
Yeah.
I think that that wasn't the first show, but like
No.
they made it like extremely mainstream.
There's a lot of mockumentary shows, like Trailer Park Boys, for instance, is a mockumentary show.
Yeah,
But
that's
anyway.
what I should have picked.
that's not workplace.
So is South Park.
Sure it is.
Actually,
They're always
that's all they
selling
do.
dope from
They're
the
always
trailer
selling
park.
dope and shit. I actually probably allow that because that's all they ever did. They always were trying to make money. That's the whole goal of that show, right? All right. So what was your pick?
All right, I picked an oldie. Surprise,
But a
surprise. WKRP in Cincinnati.
Very good show.
Excellent show. Had a great cast. Nobody really went on to do anything else after,
No.
but
Was
they
there
worked
a-
well
Who's
together.
the blonde girl, the hot one?
Lonnie Anderson.
Lonnie Anderson, yeah.
She went to do something, didn't she?
Yeah, she married Burt Reynolds.
She married
That's what
Burt
she
Reynolds.
did.
Yeah. She took it from behind by Burt Reynolds.
If
That's
you
really
I
ever
good.
just-
wonder
I
whatever
don't-
became of
This show is the best because it's just funny. All the running jokes, like Les Nessman and his fucking hog
Hog
reports,
Awards. Yeah,
the
Hog
Silver
Reports.
Sow, and with the award-winning farm reports on how proud he was.
That
one-
one,
always-
that's one
The
of
always
those.
walls, the
the
masking
helicopters.
tape, the masking tape on the floor where he wanted walls, and he'd make people knock
Yeah.
on the imaginary walls.
Yeah, because he was pissed off that he couldn't get his own wall
Yeah,
for his
and
own office.
It's one of the
I've
best
been watching-
TV theme songs ever, and one of the earliest ones like that.
Yeah.
Well,
Remember
not
the theme song.
baby. If you've ever wondered,
Oh yeah,
whatever became of me.
Best
I'm living
line,
on
it's
the
always
air
in the-
of Cincinnati, WKRP.
The reason I picked it is one line, and it's the one that has stuck with me forever. And it's, "As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly."
Oh yeah, and he's throwing him out.
He's
of the
throwing them out of the helicopter, the live
yeah.
turkeys.
You ever see that, Eamon?
I've never seen it, but
You
that's
gotta watch
hilarious.
that show. It's hilarious. It's a little dated now. Like you were gonna
It
watch
is.
it.
It's
you're gonna be
definitely
like,
dated.
What are those
and,
things in front of them? Those are called typewriters.
and some of the
But, you know,
humor
I
know what
is
typewriters are,
definitely.
but you know what I mean.
Some of the humor is definitely dated. But when I was a kid, I couldn't wait to come home and watch
there
that.
was like
and it was
like
obviously in
a
syndication when I
Thanksgiving
watched
special.
it because
Oh, yeah,
it started the
yeah.
year I was born.
It was-
so.
Thanksgiving
I think it was
special,
canceled
throwing-
before I was
throwing
born,
live
but-
turkeys.
Yeah, it was only 4
That's
seasons, so
hilarious.
it would have
And they
been
would just all
done
die when they hit the ground.
1982.
All right. Anyway, we got your answer.
Yep.
Eamon, moving on to you.
You know, a lot of ones both of you guys mentioned.
Whoa, he's just going right in there, eh? Okay.
I like it.
Tone it down.
No,
to
I like it. I like the fire, the
the
passion.
passion. All right, let's hear it.
Both of you guys picked comedy workplace shows, and a lot of ones are comedy workplace shows. But I picked one of the other ones, drama workplace shows. I'm talking about Law and Order.
Oh my God! I thought you were gonna pick that. I told Ashley Dave was gonna pick Law
I
and
considered
Order.
it. I considered
too.
it. Yeah.
That's why I considered it.
All right, let's hear it.
The story between
Cops and lawyers.
cops and lawyers, which makes sense because then you get arrested by the cops
Okay.
and go to the lawyers.
Okay, so I'm just gonna settle this right now because Law and Order comes up in almost every goddamn podcast we do. We all fucking know what Law and Order is. Right? You don't need to explain it. Tell me why it's better than the other two.
because the way that the show works is
You're not gonna cry.
dramatic.
You're not gonna cry, are you?
No, I'm not gonna
Alright.
cry. I need to let it laugh out for a second. Okay, the way that it works, when you see the cops, it makes sense. It keeps you on your edge of the seat because it's such a dramatic show. And then you go to the lawyers, and it makes you feel like, I'm gonna make a video game reference here, but it makes you feel like you're in the middle of a Phoenix Wright case.
What?
It's a video game.
You gotta
No
put
idea.
cricket sounds in there because I have no idea.
You know objection?
No.
Okay, well then I
I know what he's
I know Law and Order. I know Hang 'em High McCoy.
Anyways, it makes you.
I know what he's
feel.
trying
I know
it makes
nothing.
you
This
feel
might as well
something.
be in Spanish for me.
Anyways, and that also keeps you on an edge because it makes you feel like, I don't know how to explain it, but the drama makes you feel like you never know what's gonna happen. You're like, okay, well then let's see what's gonna happen here, and then right before something happens, it goes over to the lawyer's segment. I think I don't know. I never actually watched Law and Order.
This is a very disjointed argument.
Did you allow him to drink before he started? Like he is underage.
I don't let him drink anything. No.
There you go. Fair enough. All right.
You let me drink the pumpkin beer.
I hate you had a sip of it. Shut.
Yeah, you don't say that on the fucking air, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, Eamon didn't have any. I had a sip of it and it was god awful. Anyway, all right, Dave, tell me why your show is better than WKRP
And Law and Order.
Law and Order. You can't.
I think it's a true workplace show. I think it shows that it has the cast is all about working together. They don't spend a lot of time outside of that workplace on that show, except for like office parties and things like that.
WKRP is almost exclusively in the office.
It's all one set.
Yeah.
Well, there's two sets. There's the.
Do you know what one
office
show
set.
I did think about almost was Cheers? And then
That
I was,
would've worked.
Oh, that would have worked.
I was like, well, they all work in the bar, but not everybody. But like,
It's
it's
still based
still work,
around
though.
that.
Yeah.
It's based around the workplace.
it's a sitcom, so it has one central
Technically,
set.
realistically, almost any show you guys could have picked, I could have probably allowed it.
I think what's interesting about The Office is like they had like the writers who are upstairs in that office, right?
Yeah.
They're writing the show as they go,
Yeah.
and downstairs they're shooting it. And two of like the main cast members, BJ Novak and Mindy, what's her name? You know
the one the chick
Indian-
who's now got her own show.
on the Mindy Project.
Yeah,
They were both
Kim
writers
Cattrall.
for the show at the same time. I think Steve Carell was a writer on some level too.
I think that everybody.
So
on
they're
the show
all.
was a writer
It's
at
almost
one
like a
point.
skit show, right? Where they're kind of making this up as they go along. They have like a general plot to the season, but it's all about. It's
a lot of off the cuff stuff.
It's a lot of off the cuff stuff. It's a lot of improv, and it's a fresh thing every week, and following the same mundane lifestyle. And how
fresh, but it's mundane.
it's fresh but mundane.
I
Yeah.
found it very mundane.
And everybody's so straight and stiff, and how funny they make that.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
Well, it's an Americanized version.
That's
of
what I
British
think why
driving
I
around.
hated it, because everybody is so straight and stiff. Like there's a good show has a straight man and odd characters.
Mm-hmm.
That's Dwight.
And
That's Dwight, yeah. But he's like the ultimate straight man to the point where he's awkward and the funny one.
He's
but
Dave.
He's me.
All right. Anyway,
WKRP in Cincinnati. It's okay. Better theme song than a show.
better theme song to the show. All right. Let's sum this up with you. Tell me why your show's better than those two.
well, it's I don't even know how you compare it to Law and Order, because I've never
You don't.
watched Law and Order, and I've watched 2 episodes of.
I watched a ton of Law and Order.
But
Law and Order is too formulaic, I'd say.
But the
That's what you need to say,
WKRP
doesn't it?
WKRP
A little bit, yeah.
it deals with issues like and in the 70s this was big, but it deals with homosexuality, it deals with racism, because Venus Flytrap wears a fucking pimp's outfit in the fucking show almost the entire show.
Who's Venus Flytrap?
He's the black
One of
guy,
the
Tim
DJs.
Reed.
Oh, he's one of
Tim
the
Reed,
DJs.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of the DJs, yeah. It deals with censorship, and it's funny all the way through, and it's got that formula. It's got the one straight man and the cast of quirky characters. I found The Office. The Office is just slow. It's painful. It's painful to watch, and not in a good way. It's slow, monotonous, and it's no good.
But yeah, like a sitcom from the 70s, like it's pretty rudimentary. It's not the forward-thinking Emmy award-winning show that The Office is by any stretch of the imagination.
I think WKRP won some awards, for sure.
It was nominated, but I don't think
They
it.
probably got like the
Won
key
it.
to the city in Cincinnati. Jerry Springer probably gave it to them.
Okay.
He was the mayor of Cincinnati.
All right, I've made my decision. I'm going to go with Kevin in this scenario. And I'll tell you why. Because Kevin told us about not only the environment itself, but he also explained to us that the differences in the characters, you're kind of encompassing almost all the characters being the same thing with the slight changes on things.
Mhm, yeah.
He's telling you that they're all different characters, and I think that was important for that show, and I think that's what stood that show out, in my opinion. And Law and Order was just.
I didn't know what
you
to
didn't
say.
have a great argument.
I could've made
Having
a better
never
argument.
seen it, it's a really tough.
Your dad could have come up with a better argument than you did. Music, Best female musician between the year 2000 to 2010. So that decade. All right. Now, just to qualify this, because I know this was brought up, doesn't necessarily have to be somebody that started then.
Yep.
But was popular during. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, like, for instance, you could use pretty much anybody who was popular then, as long as they were popular during that time period. All right. And Kevin, we're going to start with you.
All right. I picked the only choice.
Who's that?
The only choice.
Amy Lee.
Amy Lee. That's interesting.
Evanescence.
What?
I never heard of them in my life.
What? Are you like listening to the Daredevil soundtrack or something? Like Amy Lee.
Amy Lee.
Evanescence?
Yes.
Oh my god! Like the terrible nu metal bands of the 2000s. Like Evanescence is like the queen of that. Like,
Evanescence is amazing. All of the songs are like compositions. They're not just fucking songs. Like all you had in the 2000s was like all these poppy chicks showing their ass, shaking their ass, and fucking selling their bodies. They didn't have any fucking musical talent. Amy Lee is multi-instrumental. All her songs, they're masterful in that genre. It's got the hard driving guitars, but then she's a master at putting that piano in right where it should be. She composes all of her songs.
My Immortal's a tough listen.
That one
I'll give him
best.
that. That one was...
But that song, actually, there is a version of that song that is fucking amazing, and it's her with a guitar on the radio, and I can't find it anywhere.
I think I've heard that.
But it's incredible.
It's almost like an unplugged version.
Yes, that's exactly what it is, and it's fucking incredible, and it's
I've
also
heard
about
that.
half the size.
Yeah, it's only like 4 minutes long instead of like 8.5.
But
whatever happened to her?
She had kids and stopped.
No,
stopped.
Okay.
She moved on.
Yeah, hopefully she comes back. She's excellent, just excellent voice, excellent at the
I've
instruments.
known Kevin for a while, and honestly,
You're surprised?
I'm surprised he's even come up with this, but I understand why he has, because to be quite honest, I do enjoy Evanescence. I like the music. It was good. It was nice to listen to. It fit in a lot of different moods.
It definitely, to me, is like one of the defining sounds or bands of that decade.
Okay, you're kind of helping him.
I know. Like, but when I think of that decade, especially the early part of that decade, I think of the Daredevil soundtrack and all the terrible bands that were on it. Evanescence being the headliner, and I don't know, it leaves a bad taste.
About Daredevil was probably the soundtrack, and that's not saying much. Dave, you're a cock.
No, and I've always thought that her songs, that Evanescence songs, when listening to them, that they could be more in musicals and in Broadway. Like they've got that flavor to them.
They have more substance to them.
Exactly. And you know what? And that's why when I did my little bit of research, I wasn't surprised to find out one of her idols is Danny Elfman.
Which makes sense.
Which makes sense. That's what. And
she writes music like it's going to be on.
She doesn't write songs. She composes music. She doesn't write songs.
Yeah, she's like a modern composer, I guess is a good way to look at it. All right, Eamon, what'd you pick?
Well, you didn't let him change his answer.
Okay, hold on. I know what you picked, Eamon.
Yeah, it was
a fucking terrible pick.
I know. I didn't think properly. I can't time good.
So tell you what. I'm going to let you...
He's only born in 2002.
Yes, I know. So he has a little bit of a handicap here, other than you're his dad. All right, I'm going to let you change it right now if you want.
Okay.
But you can't pick what your dad picked. All right, go ahead. Tell me what you picked.
Avril Lavigne.
I don't know if that's much better.
It's better than Carly Rae Jepsen.
Well, let him make his argument.
All right, Avril Lavigne. Let's hear it.
She's done several great songs. Skater Boy.
Okay, when you define great, how do you define great? Like, are you talking, like, sold a lot of albums? Or are you talking, like, good music?
That'll make his case.
Yeah,
I'm cutting him down. He's got to... If you're gonna sit at the big boy table, you're gonna have to talk like the big boys. It's that simple.
There was Skater Boy, like I mentioned.
Okay.
It's complicated.
Tell me why you feel she is one of the best performers during that time period.
Because she did so much. She released It's Complicated, which had 300,000 views. Plus, during
See, now there's the fire I'm trying to get out of
the 2000 was it 2000? It was the 2006 Olympics where we were gonna go to Canada. Out of everybody in Canada, because she is Canadian, out of everybody in Canada who's a good singer, they picked her because they knew that her musical talent was good enough
At the Torino closing ceremonies.
Torino closing, yeah.
to bring us over to the Canadian Olympics.
For 2010.
For
Yeah.
2010. All right.
You got anything else?
to add, or are you good?
That's it.
All right. Mr. Dave.
I got Lady Gaga.
You're giving me shit for Amy Lee and you picked Lady Gaga?
I was waiting for that.
Are you fucked? What is the matter with you?
You drink pumpkin beer and you pick that?
Lady Gaga, man. Come on. Like,
What?
don't blame me. I was born this way, man.
I'm getting you that t-shirt.
That is a sound clip if there ever was one. All right, anyway.
You and me can make a bad romance. Well, not you and me, but you know.
I'm not making any
How
bad
it goes.
romance with you. I'm sorry.
She's sold millions upon millions of records. She is an icon in the LGBTQ community. She is a sexy mama. She's got some great songs. Born This Way. She's got that other one, Edge of Glory, which I love. She is a almost hermaphrodite looking type of a thing. I don't know what's going on.
Hermaphrodite? What does that mean?
She's not.
Look it up later.
She wears dresses
Google it.
like made of meat.
But keep safe search on. I'm just saying.
She wears.
So to be a great musician, you
gotta
have
wear
to
meat.
wear meat.
You have to be a little bit batshit crazy, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but she's not doing anything that original. Like Bjork did that like ages before that. Bjork, yeah.
But I think that
Bjork were like
Lady
fucking
Gaga's
swans
music.
for Christ's sake.
Lady Gaga had an entire episode on Glee dedicated to her music.
Okay, that's not selling you.
No.
It's Glee.
Are you fucking kidding me? What does she? Does she?
Even
she
your
sings?
son's at the end of the table going, I'm actually
Okay,
ashamed of my
Lady
father.
Gaga obviously
Well, I mean-
sings, right? I don't know much about her. Does she play anything else?
She plays piano.
She plays the piano.
Okay. Does she write her music?
Yeah,
She does, yeah.
She does.
Does
yeah.
she? Okay.
She is a huge.
She is a
draw.
legitimate artist. I will give him credit.
She's one
for
of the
that.
biggest artists in the world today, and definitely, certainly in the last decade. Before that, she is a phenomenal icon, a legitimate pop successor to Madonna, but which does music that is really relevant, connects with people. Her
What?
yeah, man. Lady Gaga, forget about it.
Except for that
I
telephone
tried
song,
to.
It was terrible. That telephone song with Beyonce, fucking terrible.
That wasn't so good. But everyone has a couple bad ones, like Evanescence come on. Like,
I can't think of too many.
I can't think of one like
And I can't say I
train
know
wreck.
a lot of Avril Lavigne music because I wasn't of the right age at that time.
Well, if you were listening to Avril Lavigne, people would assume you were a pedophile.
Probably. Well, we're only talking a couple of years ago.
she's about the same age as me, Avril Lavigne. So
Is she?
yeah,
Good for her.
roughly.
I know she was banging the guy from Sum 41.
She was married to the Sum 41 guy, and then she was married to Chad Kroeger from Nickelback.
Really?
She's had two iconic Canadian.
That's a point against you, buddy. I'm sorry. Okay, I think I've heard enough. I'm gonna give it to Kevin.
Of course. Lady Gaga?
Lady Gaga is actually a good pick. It is a good pick, but between you and him, he explained why the music was better. Composition.
I would rather listen to Lady Gaga than Amy Lee.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
That does not surprise me at all.
Right.
You pumpkin beer
Either way,
drinking.
just to
fucking
recap, we're at our
girl.
halftime right now. Just to recap, Dave has 1 point, Kevin has 2 points, and Eamon, the newbie, has none right now. So our next question is sports. Hold on, I'm gonna bring that up now. Best coach in sports history. So anyway, let's go with Eamon. So Eamon, what did you pick?
On October 8th, 1938,
Whoa, settle down.
on October 8th, 1938, the greatest coach was born. The father of Canada, Walter Gretzky.
Okay.
Go on.
Now,
You need more than that.
I know. I just need to. Sorry.
You need to scroll.
Yeah.
All right. Don't worry, we got time.
Now, it's interesting. No.
We're gonna have to do a lot of edits.
Okay.
All right.
Now-
Relax. Take a minute. It's all good, brother. Get your thoughts going. Then articulate them out.
Walter Gretzky is a great person. He's done a lot of great coaching towards his kid Wayne, and he thinks, like, when you think about the way he thinks, it's amazing. I'll give you an example.
All right.
He says this is how most people do it, and then he shoots the puck to the corner, and then he goes up and gets it. And then he says, this is how smart people do it. And he shoots it, goes over and gets it before it hits the corner.
So you're saying he says, let's be faster.
He says, let's go.
Don't go where the puck is. Go where the puck's going to be.
Yeah.
That's where you're going on this.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew that's where you're going on it, but I wanted to hear it from you.
Mm-hmm. Right. And all of you guys know that you love him because of the Walter Gretzky tournament.
That is true. We do.
You all go to that, and you all respect him, and you all.
I've met him many times,
and especially my dad knows that because he's on his team, right?
The Wally's Warriors.
Warriors, yeah.
Walter Gretzky. You all love him. Got proof to prove that.
The boy's got passion,
and he's
got
the best coach ever.
Best coach ever. All right, good. Mr. Dave, let's see if you can bring it up a notch more than Eamon here.
Well, I have the greatest coach in hockey.
Tell me, who is the greatest coach in hockey?
The greatest coach in hockey.
And by the way, the question is greatest coach in sports.
It could.
Not necessarily.
I considered a baseball manager, but I decided.
But anybody who wants to play to the judge would obviously play to
not
hockey.
pick baseball.
Because if you pick baseball, I'll probably just shun you right away.
Yeah, I also considered like Larry Jackson and like people like that, but I went with Scotty Bowman.
All right. Tell me why.
He's by far the greatest coach in the history of hockey.
But why?
Well, he has 14 Stanley Cups as a coach and or as an executive.
Yes, but Dave, did he coach his own son, the great one?
No, I can't say that he did.
All right. Well, see, Eamon could have just said that, but instead I had to say it for him.
Over the course of
But he's learning.
Over the course of 4 decades, he was or is
gotta cut into him.
the greatest hockey executive ever.
He was?
Ooh.
Was he?
Ooh.
Yes.
The man who taught the great one?
I'm talking about Scotty Bowman.
I know, but I mean, is he better than the one who taught the great one?
There we go.
That's what I'm looking for.
He thought from a different perspective.
How many head coaching jobs did Walter Gretzky have?
Oh.
None.
I'm gonna go with 0.
Yeah.
He doesn't need coaching jobs. He's got Walter. He's got Wayne. He's got his son
Holy
Wayne.
shit, he is your son. I'll give you that.
He's the Magneto of hockey.
He's the Magneto of hockey.
Which means he's the Martin Luther or he's the Malcolm X of hockey.
He taught Xavier everything he knows, and Wayne Gretzky is Xavier.
Yeah, and like, come on, Scotty Bowman won the Jack Adams Award, which is the greatest coach award. He won it. He won it twice, 20 years apart, in 1977 and 1996. He, in his first 4 years of coaching, he led the St. Louis Blues to 4 consecutive Stanley Cup Finals.
But how many of those did he win?
None.
Oh, the boy's starting to learn.
But he learned. He won later. He won with the Canadians and with the Detroit Red Wings.
He did.
Yeah, well.
All right. Anyway. All right. Let's move on.
We'll go quickly through me, and then you guys can have at it.
All right.
Was yours horrible?
Because I picked someone from baseball.
Yep, you did.
I went through a list and picked a name that I knew.
There you go.
Pretty much. I actually thought about picking Walter Gretzky and thought about picking
Scotty Bowman.
Oh shit, eh?
Yeah, but then I
You
settled
were second
on.
in for answers too, so you could have got one of those two.
I settled in for Sparky Anderson.
Who?
Sparky
Hey,
Anderson.
you know about baseball. Like, I know you know baseball, and you don't know who Sparky Anderson is. I fucking hate baseball, and I know who Sparky Anderson is. Like, come on.
You probably know it because you hate him so much.
No.
Sparky Anderson was respected by all the players that he coached. He always had great things to say about all of his players, and that's really a great coach. Supports his players. He's not a dick. He won Manager of the Year for 2 Manager of the Year awards. Won 3 World Series with 2 different teams. He came in to the Detroit Tigers and reinvented that team, and they went for many years.
How did he reinvent it? You never explained how he reinvented it.
They went from a losing team to a winning team.
Okay.
You got nothing on that, do you?
No.
See, what you should have said was, but did he coach the great one?
And he's also the first manager to win 100 games with 2 different teams.
Did he coach the great one though?
Also, his fucking name is Sparky.
Sounds like a dog.
Nice. All right, no, that's all I got.
All right, I don't even need to go any further. I'm going to give that one to Dave.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what? Because Dave was the only one that really threw a bunch of extra in there. He also put up with your bullshit.
It was good though. Keep doing that.
That was exactly what I want. And I have to. I'm just going to go out, and I don't normally do this, but I'm going to have to say I'm very proud of how you handled yourself on that round, Eamon. So good job.
Keep doing that.
Keep doing that. Anyway, now we're on to the in this thing, which is history. All right, so the question was, if you had to pick only one car made before 1990 to drive for the rest of your life, which car would it be?
For me, it's the Dodge Charger.
Which version of the Dodge Charger?
I would probably say a 60s version of it.
Okay, and can you put that into a screenplay?
A screenplay?
I was just doing that for Kevin. You didn't tell me there was going to be a whole fucking story.
I fell in love with the
Give me the first 6 episodes.
You're the first 6 episodes. And who's the main character that drives this car? Anyway.
What cars would you put on your baseball team?
If your car was a superhero, what
If he was a
superhero would it be?
Transformer.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
For me, the Dodge Charger. I fell in love with the Dodge Charger in the year 2007. And I'll tell you why.
You're not picking the 2007, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But this is where I fell in love with the smaller car.
Oh, okay. We have a story.
There's a story. I was working for Hudson's Bay Company,
Where are you?
Zellers. And
I don't like your story.
This is true.
I like your story. Next.
this is true.
Oh, sorry. I'm not Chris.
And there was we were doing this promotion with NASCAR. And this race car driver, Patrick Carpentier, who was formerly Jacques Villeneuve's teammate when they were doing open wheel racing, he switched to NASCAR, and that was the car he picked was the Dodge Charger, and he ran the Montreal circuit as part of the first NASCAR race in Montreal, and they did it around Old Montreal. They did a street course, and he came in second. It was a huge thing for Zellers, and I actually bought that car. I like the model of that car with the Zellers on the hood. Zellers, of course, being a Canadian department store that's no longer in existence.
They were bought out by...
They were kind of bought out by Target, but
kind of bought out by Target, but not really.
But not really. And there's technically still 3 Zellers, but that's beside the point. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's still in
Nor did I
existence.
care.
No. I gotta say that the Dodge Charger to me, it looks mean. It's a powerful car. I love the construction of the body. I like how low it is to the ground. I like it as
So
a
do you
race
have
car.
a specific range of year in mind so I can get kind of a visual?
Well, I always I think to look at and to really appreciate any cars built in the 1960s or the 1970s are. Especially
so you're talking 67, 68.
Yeah, something like that. I think that is the golden age of cars for me, and I think that's when the best cars were ever built. I don't think they ever surpassed that in terms of quality or performance or just overall craftsmanship.
All right, I think I got enough from you. All right, Kevin, what'd you pick?
I picked everybody's favorite truck car,
Okay.
the El Camino. And why did I pick the El Camino? Because it's fucking awesome. And if it's
Fuck's an El Camino.
You don't know what an El Camino is?
it's a fucking truck car. What's the matter with you?
Why
It's a car that looks like a truck.
Why would anybody want that?
Because it was
I'm about to tell you why anybody
Yeah,
would
why
want
don't you
that.
Shut up!
That's an El Camino. That's why anybody would want that.
Can I see?
That just looks like a truck, like a car without a trunk.
No, but it's a car with
It's a
truck
truck
bed.
car.
It's a truck car. It's basically... You know how they used to lower trucks in
It looks like
late
the stuff that
90s?
mobsters use.
It looks
to
like it would have
decorate their
terrible
victims.
aerodynamics.
Oh, it probably did.
You
You
would've-
didn't drive
It
that.
didn't-
You didn't drive that car for performance. You drove it for
Look,
awesomeness.
the reason that you get the reason I picked it is because it's the only car I'm allowed to drive. Right? So,
You're allowed to drive that?
No, he's going by the utility
but
purpose of it.
the utility purpose of it, you can haul
Because
stuff in
it's
it,
a fucking
but it
truck
still seats
and a car.
a family.
Yeah.
But you can haul stuff in it.
You can seat 5 people in there.
But
comfortably.
also,
6,
it's
actually, technically.
awesome looking. It looks great, fucking stock. and it's highly customizable, and I'm all about
they
the highly customizability of stuff. Also, it's a classic. There's a huge pool of people that love this car.
It is a very
so you're always going to be able to get parts for it for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So it's the only one, and I mean,
it's going by pure utility.
Yes, pure utility, but not just utility. The car itself is fucking awesome looking. Mm-hmm. It's a great design, and it was the first. Too. It was the first of its kind.
No, they're very overpowered too.
Everything in the 70s
I don't know anything about this car.
I
think you guys are making this all up.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. El Camino.
You lose because you don't know what an El Camino is.
It sounds like a Star Wars planet or something.
And he hates Star Wars.
Oh. This is one of those times when you wish that the podcast was actually a video podcast. The look on his face was just phenomenal. It's just like, I ought to hit you. I'm going to cut you. I'm going to cut you so bad. That's what it was.
It'll haul a family. It'll haul a couch. It's the only car I'm allowed to have.
You're looking more for
Why is it the only car you're allowed to have?
Because that's the question was.
Okay. I picked the Ford Thunderbird.
All right. What year?
I picked the second generation.
Second gen, so that would have been...
I can show you a picture.
That'd be late 50s then. No.
60s, I think, yeah.
Would be the second gen.
That's the second gen.
Oh, that's the 50s one.
Yeah, that looks 50s.
That is pretty, though.
Yeah, that's a nice car.
Pretty car. All right.
It looks nice. It looks like something you would love. It's got...
No, it's fine. Go.
Keep going.
They're laughing. Just keep going.
It's something that you would actually love instead of your other cars that have no real material. This one looks like...
You're trying to go for personality, I think is what you're trying to say.
Yes.
It's a car with personality.
It's a car with personality. It looks 70s more, I feel, but it makes you look like... It makes you look awesome. It makes you look...
So what you're saying is you're going to get girls in this car over an El Camino in a Charger, is what you're trying to say.
You can fit like 25 girls in an El Camino.
Totally can.
Yeah, maybe
that's even if they're passed out. It's still
they'd be dead bodies because that's like a serial killer.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. I said that's what.
If you decide that as a job option, you're covered with the El Camino.
Just look at this thing. This thing screams 70s and awesome, and it will make you look.
Actually, screams 50s.
Yeah, that's 50s.
You're 20 years off, but whatever.
It's all good. It's all good, brother.
It screams 50s, and it makes you look awesome because even now, people from back then, or even people from not back then, will realize, oh, hey, look, that guy's driving a Thunderbird. And then the kid next to him will be, well, it's a Thunderbird? Yeah, it's a second generation Thunderbird. And it's the best Thunderbird I have ever seen.
There is absolutely no debate.
It is awesome.
That kid is yours. Okay? Like, there's no debate. Like, even if you weren't there for it, I'll tell you right now, that's yours.
It's the second generation Ford Thunderbird. It doesn't need an explanation. It looks awesome. It drives awesome. It is awesome.
I'm sorry, I'm giving it to him.
Yes!
I'm giving him one.
You got his first round.
No, because it's just... how can you beat that? I'm sorry.
And I think I'm going to be really good with this next one.
He ended with a slogan.
He had a slogan. He made his dad crack up. And all of us enjoyed the argument, so I'm going to give it to him. All right.
What's the next question?
Wild card. This is the one that I'm actually expecting a hard argument against. All right, wild card. And as you know, if I'm going to host, there has to be a video game related question because that's just what I know. Now, Eamon, I understand is he's got some skills in this.
If anything, he surpasses me quite by far.
Well, that ain't hard because you thought Battletoads was a fucking terrible game. So that's not hard.
I like Battletoads as characters.
Battletoads, the fucking game was awesome. Don't even get me started on this again.
All right.
It was a fucking awesome game. It was hard because you're a retard, but that doesn't make it a bad game.
It's hard for everyone.
It is hard for everybody. Well, only the one level there with the fucking zoomy things, and you gotta watch out for the boards that show up.
Yeah, I know.
Imagine being like a 7-year-old kid trying to play that. It's impossible.
I can't imagine you as a 7-year-old kid, period.
running around in his onesie.
He looks like me. He looks like me as a kid. He looked like me as a kid.
Do you consider that a selling feature?
I don't know.
We're done.
That's just something.
All right. So I think Dave is the one that starts. No, actually, it's Kevin that starts this one. So the wild card question, ding, ding, ding. Which, by the way, that's only the only second cue that I've given you, so you're fucked on editing. Anyway, the wild card was, what was the worst video game controller of all time? You could have picked anything as long as it was related to video games. I have to admit, all your answers are pretty solid. All right, but I want to hear them anyway. So, Kevin, you have the floor, sir.
I picked probably the biggest disappointment in Nintendo's history. The
Virtual
Nintendo Power Glove.
Don't you mean Mattel's history?
Well, technically Mattel did it, but it was for you.
It was for the Nintendo.
I know.
So fuck
He's
off.
He's already busted out facts, though. I didn't even know
It wasn't one that helped them, though.
I didn't even know that.
Well, yeah. But
This
I don't
thing
know.
was
I had
just
a Power Glove.
I have a Power Glove.
not only was this thing awful, like it was awkward to use.
So bad. You remember that from fucking Wizard?
I was so excited to use it when I was a kid.
I love the Power Glove.
That's
so
why
bad.
it's the worst, because everyone was so excited about this thing.
Well, that was the only
and
thing
it was the biggest
That's what the
fucking
Wizard was. It was
The
90
Wizard.
minutes. It was 90 minutes of Super Mario Brothers 3 and the Power Glove. That's what it was. It was.
But it was like the bad guy uses the Power Glove, right? And that's
Yeah,
it was
Lucas.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
It
And
was Lucas.
probably the
He's
worst
like, I love
part
the
about
Power
it.
Glove. It's so bad.
The worst part about it for me is I didn't ever have one, so I had to go to my friend's house and fucking play
And then you're like, I'm so glad I don't have one.
that, and you put your hand in that glove and it's all fucking sweaty and gross from
yeah.
everybody else having their hands
Well,
in it.
mine was fresh.
It's fucking hideous.
But
Hideous.
I thought the biggest, like when I was a kid, the biggest pain in the ass with it was you had to put the codes in.
Yes, you're gonna fucking. Why does anybody want to play a game like this and shit?
Right,
And then,
like you had to every.
it's fucking
It
terrible.
came with like this big book.
Well, the worst thing is you would have games like Mega Man, for instance. You'd code it to Mega Man, and then you'd be like, okay, well, to jump, you have to flick up.
Yeah, you had to
so
do
you'd be
fucking
like, you'd be
gestures.
doing this, and you're like, fuck you, Mega Man! Fuck you! Fuck you, Mega Man! I'm trying to show you, son of a bitch! And then he just dies, right? And then you have to start over again.
Why are we still? Why were they
Like,
trying
have
to
you
do
ever
gestures?
tried to play Mega Man with a
And you-
Power Glove? It is the most infuriating fucking thing in the world.
Because it was
the Super Glove Ball game that was like that was fucking terrible, but it was nothing like playing Mega Man on that fucking thing. You tried Mega Man, and by about 3 minutes
Why
in
in
on
the
the first level, you're
like-
like, you can fuck yourself. I'm not
The
playing
question
this
is,
anymore.
why would you want to play Mega Man with
I don't
gestures? With gestures,
But
It's-
7-year-old me was like, fuck
When
yeah!
I saw that commercial, it was like, I have to have that fucking glove.
It was a great marketing ploy. You
Oh,
gotta give
absolutely.
It was.
And they made it even better with the Wizard.
The wizard. Yeah, after I saw
Right.
the wizard, I was like, I have to have that.
Lucas fucking has it. I have to have it. Did
Right.
you see him play
That-
Rod Racer? He's like,
Okay.
He's got like the gangster lean going on, and he's fucking playing Rod Racer.
Right.
It's like,
Okay.
There's
And
no
then,
way
and then you
that's
get it
not-
home and you try that, and it's like,
you're like, why am I always in the ditch? Fucking get over, right?
It was kind of like the Wii. It was kind of sold as like a Wii-like product. Way like years.
The Wii does it way better.
Well, of
And
course.
the Wii is still pretty
But
terrible,
like,
in
it
my
made us
opinion.
believe that technology like the Wii could exist in the 80s.
Oh yeah,
You
which
know?
we were wrong. It couldn't.
yeah,
And
because
they
they used
proved
it was
because you also had that stupid
sensors.
fucking sensor array.
And then you had to put.
And
Oh yeah, yeah, it had the
you had to
thing.
put it
Yes.
on the TV, and you had the little like plastic extenders that always
Yes,
fucking
it was
fell apart.
fucking
It
awful.
didn't matter what you
'Cause
did.
It had sensors, right?
Yeah, it had 3 sensors.
Yeah.
It had one
And
like
there were
right
sensors
here,
on the
and then
glove.
there was like one here. And
So
one
you
here.
couldn't, like,
yeah,
you
there's 2 like little IR sensors on the
Yeah.
glove.
It
And
was
that's
the
how I
biggest
figured it.
piece of shit ever fucking made, and the biggest disappointment to
And it
kids,
sold a lot of units.
It did for sure.
and
All right.
a lot of crying children.
Oh yeah, I'm still crying about it. I have one.
You kept it.
Oh yeah, I still have it. I actually was
I like
trying
to take it
find
out of the box and beat it with a hammer
I
every
was,
now
I
and
was
then.
actually trying to find it. I was trying to find it because I was going to wear it today.
All right.
I was going to actually like come in with the Power Glove. It would have been sweet. Now,
All right,
you
Eamon.
sir,
I'm really curious what you picked.
you sir have something that I think only 2 people at this table would even know, which is me and you.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised you even knew. Okay, so go ahead. What's your
You want to hear bad motion controls? Take a look at the Rollin' Rocker.
the Rollin' Rocker?
Essentially, this thing is a Wii Fit board that's shaped like a top, and you're supposed to stand on it, and you're supposed to use it. You're supposed to like move it around, and it's supposed to act like a D-pad.
Yeah, let me basically explain what that was.
Oh,
Okay, do
I
you remember
remember
those,
this.
Do you remember it? You remember those like exercise discs that people had where like they tried to stay balanced, like the balance boards
yes.
that
No,
were
I
round?
remember this.
That's
now.
exactly what it fucking was, but it was to be a D-pad, right? So it was supposed to be like your up, down, left, right, and then if you jumped on it, that was A, and then like B was like turn or something, or like shift quickly or something. So you try to play something like that, and it would just be terrible. And then there was a way that you could do it where you could have the controller in hand and still do it.
But it's
It was
pointless.
still fucking
This is
terrible.
original Nintendo?
Yep.
Yeah. But it's pointless because you always use the controller. Then in that case, why not just use the D-pad? You know what? Yours is pretty bad. But
Oh, it is.
you at least got a controller out of that. This thing was just a top that didn't work and acted
Top.
as
Yeah, that's true.
that didn't work as a D-pad and required you to use a controller that had a D-pad on it.
Yeah.
Pointless.
Yeah, it was really retarded because you were supposed to control with the D-pad by using your feet
Right.
and gyrating into whichever direction you wanted. But most of the time,
I remember this now. I
stood on top
I
of
never
it.
used one.
No,
but-
no one had one because they were fucking terrible. They were actually they were a bigger fail than yours when it came to pricing, but. Yours failed in a different way.
Yeah, mine
Everybody
sold a lot
got
of
one
units.
and then got pissed off.
Yeah.
Nobody bought yours. Yours
Because
was like-
everybody knew it was horrible.
Oh, they knew it was horrible just looking at it.
They're like, what is this? Why would anybody want
Now, here's
this?
the question, though. If they featured that in The Wizard, do you think people would have bought it?
Probably.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You could put anything in that movie.
All right, you got
The
anything
Zapper
else?
for it. Also,
Okay, don't be fucking with the Zapper.
Zapper works.
fine.
the Zapper is awesome.
Well, the Zapper doesn't work on any new TV, but
It doesn't.
It was awesome though.
Can't use them on new TVs.
No.
Anything else?
No.
Excellent. All right, you sir. And I was surprised by your pick. Even
I'm
though
really
I
mad
don't
at you
totally
for this
disagree
one.
with it, but it's definitely not to these two guys. So you're gonna have a little bit of a hard time.
Like, I'm not a huge video game guy. Like, I grew up, like, my younger brother Rich was the video game king. He worked at the video game store. He beat Nintendo's Mario 64. He beat that in a day. Christmas Day, we got it as a gift. He was done before Boxing Day.
What?
So like my whole life, like video games were always in my life, but not a major center. But when the N64 came, you can say what you want about the N64. It was an amazing system, and like the control.
I wouldn't totally agree with that, but
The controller was, at first I was like, look at this thing, it's huge. It's clunky. But as you began to use it in different games, it became extremely versatile. It became comfortable, and it could be used in different ways for different games. Then I was so excited when, like, okay, we're going to the next generation of Nintendo. The Nintendo fucking GameCube. And we're going to get this piece of shit controller. It ruined Nintendo for me. Nintendo, I thought, was done when they came out with this. Not because the
remember
games
the
were
controller.
bad. Like
the
they,
GameCube controller.
the GameCube controller.
I remember hating the GameCube.
GameCube controller.
I actually love the GameCube.
Yeah, me
It had some
too.
Great games.
I hated it.
Luigi's Mansion, 1,000-Year Door.
1,000-Year Door was awesome.
No, it's an awful piece of shit, Eamon. And
Well, the
I don't know what
controller
you're
was an
talking
awful
about.
piece of shit. I had the Wavebird controllers myself, which were just the wireless versions of them. But
like they're awful, man. Like the button placement, they're all weird, different sizes, and
the only thing that really pissed me off about the GameCube controller was the C-pad, because the C-pad
the C-pad was all,
retarded.
it was like a flicky thing.
Oh, now I'm
the
remembering.
the yellow C-pad.
Yes.
And basically, the only thing they ever used it for was camera angles. Because it wouldn't have made sense to have two analog controllers. That would have been too fucking easy. You know, every other fucking company did it after that. But they gave you the C-pad, which was this little yellow fucking piece of shit. And the fucking thing, it was a digital controller. And it should have been an analog controller. That's basically what it should have been. It was an 8-directional only.
Yeah,
And,
I remember this.
and the diagonal directions were fucking hard as hell to hit.
As soon as you said
basically always
those
hit
fucking
upper
yellow
sides.
buttons,
As
nightmares
much as
started
I
to come
love
back.
playing like games like Perfect Dark, Ocarina of Time, and games like that on the N64, when I like, even though I love Smash Brothers, I fucking hate playing with a GameCube controller. I hate it.
It was just kind of funny because there's actually a lot of people that have a big following.
They brought it back for the Wii U
They brought it
specifically
back
for
just for the Wii U.
Smash Bros.
Yeah.
I didn't like playing it with that controller.
I'm not a big Smash Brothers fan.
That controller, in particular, the placement of the Z button was
the Z
extremely
button was dumb.
ignored. It was like hard to press.
It was
up
also
above-
a shoulder button, and it was the only shoulder button there. So there wasn't one that matched it on the other side,
you know.
which was dumb.
Yeah.
So you had two shoulder buttons on this side and one shoulder button on this side.
I love the N64 controller because I had the joystick, and right underneath I had like the trigger.
Yeah, but you have to admit though, that joystick was balls. That joystick on the N64.
But it was the first joystick ever.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't the first one.
What are you talking about? PlayStation
Oh, no, wait.
right before that.
Do you know what? In a first-person shooter game,
Technically, Atari had the
when I played first-person shooter games, I didn't play like the traditional controller style. I played like the solitaire style where you.
So you did the
scrunch. The scrunch. Yeah, and at first I thought it was dumb, but then I learned it was.
GoldenEye was fun though.
GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, same controls, right?
Not so much anymore though. You try to play that game now, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I like GoldenEye. Always
You like
have.
it now?
Perfect Dark is
played it recently?
is an improvement.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So
I tried it the other day.
GameCube controller almost destroyed Nintendo. The GameCube almost destroyed Nintendo because PlayStation came along, it was superior. It was the
PlayStation game
and the
before
Wii
N64.
was the resurgence of Nintendo.
That's why they called it the Revolution. And it's
It was original
design.
Revolution design, yeah.
It's also visually repulsing.
It is visually.
It's a bad controller.
Jody, at the end of the day, they have a bunch of novelty controllers. I actually have a system controller that was flawed and was not good. And they got circus tricks. I got a legitimate contender.
That's actually a good point because he's got a controller that shipped with every fucking GameCube. You guys had the optional controller.
This is
No
what
one
Rick-
had to.
this is
play
what
with
kids-
it. He had to play with that controller.
You had no choice. It wasn't like, oh, you got this thing and now you got to deal with it. No, it was what came with it, and it's what ruined that system, and it's what almost killed Nintendo, in my opinion.
I kind of hate him for bringing that up because that actually is a very valid point. Everybody had to play with that fucking controller. I kind of hate him for that. All right, Eamon, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Why is your controller worse than these two guys? And give it to me quick.
Okay, first of all, the GameCube controller is an awesome controller. Everybody loves it. Well, not everybody.
No, not
I don't love it.
But lots of people do, so that kind of makes your point invalid because lots of people love it. They brought it back specifically for Smash Brothers, and also,
That is a point against you.
and for you, you had a thing that did motion controls, but at least you had a regular controller to come with it, so you at least got
You had to use with one hand
Yeah,
because
yeah,
your other
yeah,
hand was in a
yes.
glove.
No, but you took it off. You always took it off.
Well, then why wouldn't you just use your regular controller? No, the
Exactly.
point was putting the glove on,
The
using
point
the
was being
controller.
fucking awesome and have this glove on that was made you
Yeah.
into like a Terminator fucking guy.
Anyways, mine is redundant. It's useless, and it's counterintuitive because you have to use the controller anyways. So you might as well just use that for the D-pad.
All right,
That's a pretty good argument for a 12.
Not bad.
Yeah.
All right, I'm taking into account that he's 12.
Yeah.
So I'm putting that in there too. All right, Kevin, tell me why these two guys just are not as much of a terrible waste of time as the Power Glove was.
Because the Power Glove ruined the lives of millions of children. So many tears.
Which is true.
I'm
because
sure
this got done
over
on you
this
because no one bought yours.
over this piece of shit.
Yours
So
sold
many
something like
tears.
50,000 units worldwide.
But nobody wanted it because they knew it was bad.
Yeah, but that means they didn't experience, nor did they actually get the deep depression that
Yours
the Power
just
Glove
didn't have
did.
the marketing that the Power Glove had.
Yours had marketing because of the wizard!
That's
And
true.
the fucking commercials were awesome.
Oh, they were awesome.
Now you're playing with power.
I
Like that
begged
was,
my parents for that Power Glove.
so did I until I fucking used one, and then I was like, fuck this shit.
All right.
It ruined lives.
You tell me why yours is worse than these two.
Mine's worse because I think for me, on my own personal story, it kind of ruined Nintendo for me. It made me lose faith in Nintendo. Up to that point, I was a company man. I believe, even with the botches of the Power Glove and other shitty, crazy shit that had come out over the years.
Virtual Boy.
I was growing up.
Rob.
I had so many friends who were like, Sega is the way, right? Like they're going about Sonic
Super
and
Nintendo
shit.
CD.
And I was like, no man, I'm a Nintendo guy. And they're like, you're fucking Square, man. It's like the 1950s apparently, but
You're square, man.
I've decided.
no, I'm not done.
This thing is greased lightning.
I believed in Nintendo, Jody. I believed in it, and GameCube ruined it. It ruined my life. It ruined my.
Oh, now you're trying my arguments, eh? They don't usually work for me.
And the GameCube controller is a horrendous piece of shit.
No, it isn't. It's awesome. And lots of people like it, and it was brought back for Smash Bros. If that doesn't scream good controller, I don't know what does.
What game is made better by the Power Glove?
Well, the same thing for Eamon.
I can't think of one.
Same argument for Eamon.
I can tell you a whole bunch of games that the Power Glove made worse. Like fucking
all of
Mega
them.
Every fucking Mega Man game, I can tell you that.
What's your thing called? I never even had one.
The Rock and Roller.
Do you have one?
No.
No. Well, who had this thing?
You know why I don't have one? I can't even find one to buy.
Yeah. They must not have produced many units.
No, they didn't.
No.
It was pretty much shit. I'm just going to quickly see what the internet says about worst controller, because I'm kind of curious now. Worst video game controller. Everybody playing the home game. This is where you can masturbate on a different...
With your Power Glove. The only game that's made better by the Power Glove. Jerking off.
That's good. Alright. Alright, I'm going to make my ruling. I'm giving it to Kevin.
So I'm out?
You are out, but you managed to get a point, which is still better than what Chris would have did. Alright, so...
You got a point.
Absolutely.
Chris doesn't get points.
Yeah, he gets sympathy points.
He gets sympathy points. He doesn't get actual wins.
He only gets a point if he does a skit.
Did I get a sympathy
but then when he
point?
tries to do that
I
skit
get
2
an
times in a
You won that
row.
one. You had a good argument. You won it.
He came close to me on for that one because
You were pretty much.
Which one did he? Which
Until
one?
he decided to get in.
Oh,
there.
the history one, yeah.
No, you had.
No.
Who was runner-up in video?
Yeah, no, you were
The history
in
one.
that
Yeah.
video game question.
Between the two of you guys,
Yeah.
it would be you.
Really?
What?
Yeah. Yours didn't sell enough, and you also need to have your balls drop. But past that, no.
My ears are ringing.
I'll tell you why, okay? And I'll be honest with you. It has nothing to do with how you argued it, okay? It has how he argued it. Because one of the things he said is, which really actually I never even thought of, is
I thought he had it.
fucking everyone had that controller because they had to have that controller.
I thought you were going
It was the only option they had. Yours was totally an optional thing, right? No one had to deal
a
with
novelty thing rich kids had.
Yeah,
It's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. It was fucking terrible. And we now have only 2 contestants because Eamon has been eliminated, even though he gave us a bit of a fight near the end there. All right, so now we have to have our speed round. Speed rounds. All right, so movies. I'm gonna go with it. What is the best out of the franchise? What is the best Fast and the Furious movie?
The first one.
All right, what about you?
I have
You would
never
know. Oh shit! I
seen
totally forgot about that.
any of them.
Just pick one then.
Let's go with number 7.
Number 7
You
was
know
the
what?
last one. That was the
Sure.
first one. All right. You've seen at least the trailer, right?
No.
All right. There's a car.
I'm
that
assuming
goes
there
through
are
one
cars and drivers and things go
It's
fast.
a heist movie.
Now, have both of you guys seen Game of
It's a
Thrones?
Have a what? What?
Have both of you guys seen Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You caught up?
Shut up.
Yep.
What does that have to do with it?
Shut up.
He's thinking of a TV question.
And he totally came out of context.
Oh, okay.
Tell me how the first one's better.
Well, I never bothered with any of them after the first one, to be honest
Really?
with you.
I love that series.
I think it is a series made for morons.
Absolutely.
Personally.
That's the whole
I think
point.
it is made for the lowest common denominator of American culture / Canadian culture.
I
And
think that was a shot on me. That's a point against
no,
you.
not so much
That's a
on
point
you.
against
Like just basically.
All Kevin now has to do is just say it was good and he's gonna win. It had cars, man.
Like the
Fast
first,
ones.
The first one,
They're
actually,
furious.
I felt had a real plot that I could legitimately accept as.
Okay,
as
you
a
have to
movie.
be honest though. None of them really have that great of a plot.
No, but the first one has the most. It has the best case among the series. An undercover FBI agent.
The series started as being kind of a goofy street racing movie about some crime and stuff.
Right.
And then the series progressed into heist movies, basically. So by
Yeah.
the end of the series, it's all heist movies.
Like,
That's all it is.
I've been following the series even though not watching the movies, and just the way that they talk about the series and like the cast interviews, you know, and it's obviously very sad what happened with Paul Walker and him dying, but just
I
like
drove into a fucking tree. I don't know why everybody thinks that that's incredible.
I don't know if it's incredible. It's sad that he died before his time.
It's always sad that somebody dies earlier than they should.
Yeah, like, but the way that the cast talk, the way Vin Diesel in particular talks about the series, like he's established some great legacy, is ridiculous. Like
Well,
the
they've had 7 movies. How many movies have you made?
That's not the point. I'm not a filmmaker. He's a movie star and a producer, and he boasts these movies like to ridiculous levels, where he really buys into the fandom that has been built by these, and it's really just about because people have like these hard-ons for cars. And I like cars. They love cars. The characters are like a secondary aspect of what's necessary to put
the cars are the star of the show.
The cars are the star of the show.
All right.
And the
first. Sum it up here. I'm trying to run a fast.
The first film, I felt like it was a good story. Not a great story, a good story.
All right.
It should have probably ended there, but because it's people love their cars so much, it's the same reason fucking Transformers is so fucking popular. Because people love cars, and
I'd rather watch the Fast and Furious movies than watch Transformers.
I know,
but they were terrible.
I know, they're all terrible. This is all terrible. This is all Michael Bay bullshit. Even though Michael Bay did Fast and Furious, it feels like that same style. It's catering to that same audience of America. And
you've only seen one, though, right?
I've seen one, but followed vaguely with what's going on.
I'm done hearing you. What about you?
I have no idea about any of these movies.
All right.
As Dave said, they're made for morons. This is why I've never seen them. Not because I'm not
seen them all.
Not because
a moron?
No, not because I'm not a moron, but because I know I'm going to like these, and I don't want to admit it.
All right.
Hopefully, number 7 will be the last. There you go.
7 right now looks like it will be the last. Yeah.
It's not the last. Not even close.
No, they're already.
I don't have an argument.
They'll be making another one. You know how big that song was?
They might reboot the series.
It's inevitable that I'm going to watch these eventually,
when
but
I
haven't
see you
seen
again.
them yet.
Yeah, I'll probably end up watching them with you.
That "See You Again" song that's on the radio right now. That's about Paul Walker, right?
Well, it was used at the end of the movie.
Yeah, like that song is closely associated with the film. Yeah. And let's face it, like
I don't believe it was
that movie is the highest grossing of the series.
Yes, the 7th.
Even though it's...
But I think that's more because Paul Walker died during the making of it.
Yeah, so of course. And the song is obviously a tribute memorial to him. And they are going...
Well, the end of the movie is even a tribute to him.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole...
They will be making another film.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, the 7th movie ends with them all branching off and saying, we're kind of done. And that's the end.
But they're not.
Well, if somebody who actually does follow all the movies... I don't think they'll make any more. I don't think they'll make any more with that cast. I think they'll probably reboot it, kind of like they're doing with all the fucking other movies now, like Ghostbusters.
I don't say them rebooting this anytime soon.
I think they'll reboot it. I don't know if it'll be soon.
3 weeks. And they'll reboot it.
4 weeks tops.
It took like 3 weeks for them to announce another Batman.
All right. Obviously, I have to give this one to Dave.
Of course, I have no idea.
So it's one of those things I can't really go too far on. So, Eamon. You got a question for TV?
Who's the most cruel Game of Thrones character?
Cruel?
Yeah.
Joffrey.
Ramsay Snow.
Ooh, that's interesting. All right, let's hear it, boys.
Ramsay Snow.
I haven't even watched the fucking series, and I know what both those characters are.
Oh, yes, I know who that is now. Okay. Joffrey, he chops off his to-be wife's head and then makes her go and look at it.
No, his to-be wife's father-in-law or whatever, like wife's.
His to-be wife's
cut the King of the
father's
head. Yeah.
And not even by himself. He got a guard to do it.
Well, yeah, but the king
orders
it, so the king did it.
Blood's on his hands. One way.
But that's cruel in itself. And then he tortures the fucking whores and shit. Any woman he gets, he tortures. He wants to see everything suffer. He doesn't even really care about... The only reason he cares about being king is so he can see people suffer. Nothing else.
He doesn't hold a candle to Ramsay Snow, not even close. Ramsay Snow likes to skin people alive by like the dozens, if not hundreds of people. If people are surrendering in battle, they'll go, please, I surrender. He's like, I accept your surrender. And then he'll put a knife in the back of their fucking head. He cuts off their skin. He rapes his own wife constantly. He's dubiously loyal to his own father. He only accepts his own father to the point where he can eventually take his place and be his own heir. And that's the only thing that keeps the peace. Now his father has a child on the way with his second wife, who could be a more legitimate threat to the throne. And he's already considering killing this baby before it's born. what else can we say? He had a girlfriend that he used to seduce Theon Greyjoy into like this kind of plot to fuck with his mind right before he cut his own dick off. Then this girl made the other girl that he was dating jealous. So he threw her out into the woods and he chased her down with dogs. And then when she was begging for mercy, he says, "I'll give you mercy." And then he set the dogs on her while they both watched, and then they fucked. While Theon Greyjoy, without a dick, who's now been named Reek, has to watch in horror.
But he doesn't mind because he's hypnotized now.
Kevin, you got a rebuttal to that?
He's cruel because he's ambitious. He wants something. Joffrey is cruel because he wants to be cruel.
Yeah, he's already inherited the top ambition, but his cruelty is far surpassed by Ramsay. And Ramsay's a survivor.
Like Beyonce?
Ramsay's actually intelligent, whereas Joffrey's a fool. Joffrey, believes that his title makes him strong.
I don't get the impression that Joffrey's a fool.
Joffrey is the biggest fool in Game of Thrones. Oh yeah.
See, I haven't watched much of this.
I'd agree. He's a fool, but he's also supremely cruel. Like it's all he wants to do.
So, give an example that would be more cruel than something that this guy has already talked about his character doing. Is there anything that tops what he's already said?
No.
Okay. I gotta give it to Dave. All right, music. What is, in your opinion, the best movie soundtrack that actually demonstrates and gives you the impression of the movie? So, a soundtrack that makes you think, the minute you listen to the soundtrack, you instantly think of the movie. You can spot all the different times that soundtrack was in it. Give me something that gives you a really good example of a good soundtrack for a movie.
It's tough. I have a few that come to mind.
I have 0 that come to mind.
Think of a good movie that you like. And
I'd have to
think of it as a good soundtrack.
I'm with 2, and they're very different.
But you only can pick one. So,
You're not picking 2?
I'm going to say Django Unchained.
Again? All right.
What?
We've had this question before, similar.
I know. But my other option would be Purple Rain, but
the Batman soundtrack
Which one?
Elephants?
with Prince.
Yeah.
Oh! It's on now, bitches! All right, so Django, tell me why.
Django, every song on that soundtrack reminds you of a very specific scene. The imagery is very tied in with the music. Right? What with the mood and the
This argument sounds awfully familiar.
It is but it's because I believe it. Like it happens to be something that I'll stand behind.
So pick one song off your soundtrack. Tell me the scene that it was involved in and why it connects correctly.
Well, there's so many in that. Like it's hard to pick one.
Well, I've asked you to pick one. So pick one. And I'm going to do the same for you, so you might want to think of that.
I'm gonna say, even though it's not an original song, it's actually a song they picked from the 70s. I'm gonna say I Got a Name.
Original or not?
I'm gonna pick I Got a Name by Joe.
Like what I'm trying to go at is like, for instance, think of like Reservoir Dogs. You know, Stuck in the Middle with You.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody knows what scene that's from in that movie. You know, so it's you. Whenever you think of that song now, whenever you hear that song, you think of that scene in Reservoir Dogs where he's dancing around the guy ready to cut his ear off and all that shit, right? Like, and he's, Michael Madsen just kind of grooving a bit. And
I always gravitate towards songs and moments in movies that give me hope and give me a sense of optimism for humanity.
All right.
And for me, in that movie, it's I Got a Name, right? Where it's like, the Jamie Foxx character and the Christoph Waltz character, they're first embarking on, he's like, if you work this winter with me as a bounty hunter, I will help you find your wife afterwards, right? And that's what they do. And then they kind of go up north and they're kind of cruising around the mountain range looking for fugitives, essentially, to bring back his bounties as criminals. And the wide landscapes, the great mountainscapes, of America throughout that song still like rings in my head. Like it's still like kind of tattooed to my mind. I have to go with that because to me, like when I see those two riding on horseback out in the range, it just brings me joy. Even though watching back the movie, I know that there will be a lot of sorrow and heartache that will come after that. That there's some great Western moments that are pulled from other great spaghetti westerns and other westerns that come after that. That song definitely rings true.
All right, cool. Kevin, you picked the Batman soundtrack, and I assume you're picking the '87 Batman.
Prince.
Black and white, red and green, the funkiest thing you've ever seen.
And that is
win for that.
And that is the song
That's
that
the song
I think of.
Okay. Right.
Party man. Party
When he's
man.
running through and improving the paintings.
Oh yes, by painting them all.
To look like Joker and
he's painting like the statue.
and he just I don't even need to argue. I knew none of the songs that he was fucking talking about.
I know what song he's talking about.
But he sang my argument before I made it. It is synonymous with that movie, and it's what you think of.
I'm giving it to Kevin. Dave right now has 1, 2.
Mine's Lawrence. This is one of the first tapes I ever bought.
Yeah.
I think I still have the tape.
This is epic.
What song is it?
Party man.
Party Man.
Prince.
What do you mean by who?
Yeah.
The first Batman soundtrack. Everything was Prince.
No, the first Batman was the 66 one.
The first real one.
The first Batman movie.
New Kings in town.
All right, so just to recap the points right now, Dave has 1, 2, 3, 4 points. Kevin has 1, 2, 3, 4. We are tied. Ooh, it's getting close. All right, so sports question. I think Eamon has a sports question he wants to give you guys.
What's the best martial art?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. Best martial arts. There's so many. Jiu-jitsu.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
Jeet Kune Do.
Jikundo? All right.
It's the most common martial art practiced by MMA fighters today. It is used.
Why is that important?
Well, because if two guys are going to go into a head-to-head battle where they're going to be punching each
I'll tell you,
other,
the only MMA I ever watch is the girls.
I don't like MMA, but I do know that.
I just like seeing two chicks kick the crap out of each other.
I do know that if my respect of it comes from the fact that if two guys or two ladies even are going to
No, they're not ladies.
are going to battle one another, they're going to go with the martial arts style that they think is going to be the most effective and the most defensive, and that therefore
So you're saying because more people do it, they feel that is the most effective.
yes, that's my argument.
All right, Kevin.
Well, most effective, that's going to be Jeet Kune Do. That's Bruce Lee's, the one that he made. Mm-hmm. And the whole idea behind Jeet Kune Do is to take out all the ceremony, all the forms, and all the shit.
Basically,
and
all
just
the bullshit.
get down to kicking ass.
It's kicking
And
ass.
that's it.
And taking
It's
names.
and everything is better when it's parsed down to simplicity. You parse down the podcast, makes it better. You parse down martial arts and bring it into something that is tight and just about kicking ass, about self-defense.
Right.
It'll make it better.
Got any retaliation to that?
Bruce Lee is also considered the best martial artist ever.
My rebuttal would be they would be doing it in the ring if it was actually better, but they're not.
He did do it in the ring. He beat the.
No, but not today. People today aren't doing it.
But he went.
Well, people today are doing.
He had to.
They shouldn't be doing.
He had to prove that his art was better, and he went back in that ring after having a broken back and beat the guy in seconds with Jeet Kune Do.
I'm gonna give it to Kevin. History. There's been many great wars, but there was only one war that no one gave a shit about. Which one was it?
A war no one gave a shit about? And
No one really cares. It didn't really achieve anything. Pick a war.
Israel-Palestine.
Good war. All right.
not even a real war.
Yeah, it's a conflict. It's good enough. I'll take it. You can pick a conflict.
There's so many pointless wars. I don't know. Like, I could easily say, like, the Persian Gulf.
All right. Is that your pick?
Why not?
All right.
Nobody cares because it's still going on.
That's your whole argument.
If anybody cared, they'd stop it. But nobody cares.
True enough. All right.
Not even a real war. And
That is a conflict. It's a war.
it's not a war. Like, how do you define war?
Two or more powers arguing over
Waging
territory.
war at one another?
Yeah, that's pretty much what war is.
Well, if it was a war, then Israel would just annihilate them.
Well, no, but I think that's kind of Kevin's point. Is it's such a terrible one that it's not happening.
It's not a real war.
All right. Well, that's fine. So
Yeah.
tell me how yours was. Because the last time I checked,
Oh,
the Persian Gulf War really was just a military action. But anyway, go ahead.
well, there hasn't truly been a war since the Korean War.
Not a
Okay.
defined war. No, that's true.
Right? They've been defined as a whole bunch of other hullabaloo ever since then. Hullabaloo, yeah. Because they don't want to label it as such because it means a whole bunch of other things. So they make up fancy names. They're essentially proxy wars. But the Gulf War was protecting Kuwait from Iraq.
All right.
Iraq basically declared war on Kuwait, and then Kuwait was protected by a whole bunch of Western powers.
How is that useless?
I don't see the point of it. Why get involved?
Oil. You know what there is between Israel and Palestine? Fucking dirt.
And religion.
Dirt. They're fighting over dirt.
They're fighting over religion.
Well, they're fighting a religion, truly, but it's basically dirt is what's coming up.
Okay, dirt
Territory
and
and
imaginary shit.
Dirt and imaginary shit.
It's useless. It's utterly useless.
Okay, I'm sorry, but Kevin's getting that just for that.
Can I even come back to this one? Sure. Go ahead.
Sure. All right, we're done. Okay, so you got anything or no?
No.
Are you done? Okay.
Mathematically, am I still in this?
Absolutely, I think so. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, no, technically he's one.
Technically.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go with a wild card anyway, just because I wanna hear an argument.
All right.
All right, boys. Most influential video game in the 16-bit era.
What? I don't even know what that is. Like 16.
Okay, I'll tell you the systems that were in the 16-bit era.
Sonic.
All right, there you go. That's one of them. So Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo. It depends on who you ask. TurboGrafx 16.
Don't pick anything from TurboGrafx 16.
Don't pick anything from that system. So basically, you want to pick
You don't
that
mention
game
his
from
name.
either Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis.
I desperately wanted one of those when I was a kid.
Really?
A TurboGrafx 16.
The only good game on that entire system, other than Slaughterhouse, was Military Madness.
So Super Nintendo, but not Nintendo. Like
No,
original.
Nintendo's 8-bit.
Original Nintendo's 8-bit.
Sonic is easily beatable.
Mario Kart.
Okay, you can pick that. That's not a bad pick, actually. All right, let's hear your Sonic.
Sonic was the only thing that saved the fucking Genesis. It's the only reason anybody bought a Genesis was for Sonic.
I don't know if I totally agree with that, but all right. It was for the arcade ports. It was the original reason why.
It was for Mortal
Genesis
Kombat.
was also for a full year before the Super Nintendo.
No, when I was a kid, it was all about Sonic, and that's all I ever fucking heard about. Sonic.
All right. Go ahead.
Mario Kart kind of like defined the ensemble piece. It showed how you could throw all these Mario characters together from different franchises into one game that spawned the Mario Party and the Super Smash Brothers and a whole bunch of other
I don't need
franchises
to hear
that came
anymore.
out.
Dave's got that one. He did a good job on that. All right.
As soon as I picked Sonic, I went, fuck, I should have picked fucking Mario Kart.
That was a good pick, actually. I was actually
Because I don't like Sonic.
I didn't
but
want to
love
show
Mario Kart.
I didn't want to show the surprise, but I was surprised by his pick. That was actually really well done.
That was pretty much the only pick.
That was yeah. There's a couple in there, but I think Mario Kart was probably one of the defining.
So Kevin wins.
Kevin does win.
Congratulations, Kevin.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Kevin. Dave came in close second. I almost had to give him a legitimate win, which is
Scary to say, huh?
hey, I would have gave it to you if you wanted. It's that simple. Oh, we're doing this again. Alright, so anyway, I guess...
It's never enough.
So congratulations to Kevin. Kevin has won this episode.
Congratulations,
And
Kevin.
this is where you put the sound clip where it's like...
It's like, do you know the song that plays like at the in the victory sound?
that was the Final Fantasy theme.
It's the final when you win a battle.
When you win a battle in Final
Yeah,
Fantasy. And you're all fucking terrible at it. Alright, so this concludes another riveting episode of Trivial Debates.
Yes.
And I was your host.
One of our more civilized episodes.
Thunderbird!
This was pretty...
Nobody's mad at Chris, so we're all still sitting at the table.
That guy's good. I'm not mad at anybody at this table.
Yeah.
Are you mad at anybody at this
No.
table? What about you?
No.
What about you?
No.
No. Well, you had to think about that for a minute.
So it's like it's the episode with no bad feelings.
No bad feelings.
There may never be
This is
another
a
one.
happy episode. This is a happy episode.
We're gonna leave, and Eamon's gonna be like, "Don't ever let those guys back in here.
Yeah,
I
no.
fucking hate those
I
guys."
hate those fuckers. Anyway, so I was host Jody, and
Runner-up Dave Mader.
Runner-up Dave Mader. There's 3 fucking people contested. You're runner-up.
The winner, Evan Millard.
The winner.
And the Thunderbird! And...
That's good.
That's excellent.
Thunderbird David. All right, so
That's my new nickname.
That is your new name.
I don't
for the
remember how we did
podcast.
this.
The Thunderbird.
Because I don't usually host.
It usually ends with you swearing at somebody.
Oh, okay.
Peace out, bitches.
I don't know who to swear at.
Usually you either say like "fuck you" or "go fuck yourself" or something.
Swear at Chris.
Chris.
Yeah,
he's not here.
Yeah.
Of course. So
He'll be back.
He won't listen to this though. He's never listened to an episode.
he doesn't have the time.
Let's do a
He
shout
doesn't
out
have
to
the
somebody.
time or the desire.
Let's do a shout out to somebody. Dylan. Dylan's gonna listen to this.
Yeah.
Hi, Dylan. And go fuck yourself. So for everybody at the table, I'm Jody Simpson, and Dave likes pumpkin beer, and that's just wrong. All right.
It's delicious.
All right, and Chris, go fuck yourself. All right.